Let's explore a fascinating region that spans over 22 million acres, a green space twice the size of Switzerland. Within this vast area, we find the Matsés tribe, one of the three Yanomami groups inhabiting a reserve filled with lush rainforests and mountains located between northern Brazil and southern Venezuela. This indigenous group is especially known for their resistance to external contact, preferring to remain isolated not only from outsiders, but also from other indigenous communities that share their expansive territory. This choice to live apart has sparked worldwide curiosity, especially after 2011, when they were rediscovered by chance during a flight over the Amazon that captured images of their presence. Imagine life in this secluded enclave, surrounded by untamed nature, where they have chosen to remain separate not only from the outside world, but also from neighboring tribes. This decision reflects a culture deeply rooted in the desire for preservation and autonomy over their way of life and their land. The Matsés tribe lives in a remote part of the Amazon, where the dense forest canopy acts as a natural barrier, shielding them from outside diseases like malaria. The geographical isolation of their settlements makes them nearly invisible from above, a perfect camouflage that keeps them safe from many external threats. Despite their peaceful reputation, health and anthropology experts agree that it's best for the tribe to stay isolated. The risk of contact with the outside world is high, mainly because they could be exposed to diseases they have no immunity against. While they're technically protected by Brazilian government laws, their land faces growing pressure from invasions by illegal miners, estimated to be over 5,000. This activity not only threatens the environment, but also poses a risk of introducing deadly diseases to the indigenous community. To raise awareness about this delicate situation, some rare photos of the tribe's dwellings have been made public. Organizations like Survival International use these images to highlight the dangers that illegal mining poses to these hidden communities, hoping to rally global support for their protection. The Matsés tribe organizes their social and family life within large communal structures called malokas. These are essentially big circular houses divided into sections to accommodate different families. Each family occupies a square section of the maloka, where they hang their hammocks, store food, and keep fires going for cooking and warmth. In 2016, photos showed the addition of 2 new thatched roofs, possibly signaling an increase in the tribe's population. Living together in this shared space has its complexities, especially given the external challenges the tribe faces. Conflicts with miners have been a painful reality, tragically marked by the Shipibo massacre in 1993, which led to the deaths of 16 Yanomami. Preserving these territories not only protects indigenous communities, but is also recognized internationally as an effective strategy against deforestation, significantly contributing to carbon emission reduction. Interestingly, the Matsés lead a lifestyle without industrial products. Observations indicate they don't use metal or manufactured items like aluminum pots, machetes, or modern fabrics, reflecting their deep commitment to a traditional and sustainable way of life. In the Brazilian Amazon region, around 22,000 Yanomami live spread across various communities, some of which, like the Matsés, are extremely isolated and have yet to make contact with the outside world. The Yanomami indigenous territory was officially recognized by the Brazilian government in 1992, just a few months before the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro. Before this reservation was established, many Yanomami suffered from invasions into their land, facing violence and diseases like flu and measles brought in by outsiders. The situation began to improve after the territory was marked off, with investments in conservation projects that helped the tribes recover. However, the region now faces new challenges, such as water contamination from mercury used in illegal gold mining. This heavy metal builds up in fish, posing a serious threat to the health and lifestyle of Yanomami communities, who rely on these resources for their survival. The Matsés, an isolated Yanomami group, were recently spotted during a surveillance flight, where they reacted defensively, brandishing their spears at the plane, a response similar to previous encounters with other tribes in the area. This tribe appears to be descended from the Yanomami, Yanomami speakers who, since the 1920s, have lived in the region between Mukaji Katrimani, near the sources of the Apuai River. This area is surrounded by mines, putting them at constant risk. The first documented contact with the Yanomami happened in 1932, when explorers encountered a large group. Today, beyond environmental threats, the Matsés and other Yanomami face health risks brought by illegal miners, including diseases like malaria and measles, raising concerns about potential epidemic outbreaks in the region. During the 1920s, some internal conflicts led groups of the Yanomami people to migrate toward new areas along the rivers. Notably, a portion of these groups who lived in Arapari relocated to the Asháninka River basin. Their interactions with the outside world were marked by significant events, like a measles epidemic in 1968 and the construction of a segment of the Northern Perimeter Highway in 1973, which cut through their territory. The Yanomami, of whom the Yanomami are a part, have a rich culture divided into at least 6 subgroups that share the same language family. They possess deep knowledge of botany, using around 500 types of plants not only for food, but also for building and maintaining their homes. Additionally, their daily activities include hunting, gathering, and fishing, and they cultivate cassava and bananas in large clearings within the forest. Shamans play a crucial role in indigenous communities as spiritual leaders. They use the smoke from yakuana, a plant with hallucinogenic properties, to reach altered states of consciousness, allowing them, according to their beliefs, to communicate with the spirit world. The Matsés tribe has a unique cultural practice related to the use of the foreskin, which is tied with 2 cords known as hatate around the waist. This custom sets them apart from the Yanomami, who use a simple cotton thread to tie the foreskin. In the late 1980s, the Matsés tribe faced a massive invasion of miners in their territory, which forced them to migrate northeast, abandoning their ancestral lands. Between 1987 and 1990, the territory was overrun by hundreds of miners, with heavy machinery in operation and airplanes constantly flying overhead. By 1990, the situation escalated into armed conflict between the miners and the tribe, leading to rumors that the Matsés might have been wiped out. This turbulent period was marked not only by violence, but also by the outbreak of diseases, worsened by contact with the invaders, putting the tribe's survival at serious risk. After years of being forgotten, the Matsés people were rediscovered in 2011, when a Funai reconnaissance flight flew over their new location. During this time, government funding cuts for indigenous land protection led to the shutdown of protection bases, which were then taken over by miners who used them as logistical support points. In 2019, a new chapter began when Funai announced the reactivation of protection bases in the Yanomami territory, including monitoring the Mukaji tributary and the Korkorma region. This move promised more effective surveillance near large agricultural areas, notably banana fields spanning approximately 49 acres. The unique architecture of the Yanomami group, observed in these areas, suggests it developed during their early encounters with non-indigenous people, sometime between the 1950s and 1970s, reflecting a blend of styles and emerging needs from that period. The isolated community of Serra da Estrutura lives traditionally, with homes characterized by 17 sloped roofs. It's estimated that their population doesn't exceed 100 individuals. They maintain a self-sufficient lifestyle, making their own tools like stone axes, which they use to cut down trees and build homes. Even when they come across modern tools like wooden-handled axes or machetes, they prefer not to use them, sticking to their traditional techniques. In November 2021, a tragic incident occurred when miners attacked, resulting in the death of 2 members of the Matsés tribe. The conflict broke out when tribal warriors attempted to drive the intruders away from a nearby mine, seeking to protect their ancestral land. Recently, a violent clash between miners and the Matsés indigenous tribe led to a tragic exchange of arrows and gunfire. In this conflict, 3 miners were wounded by arrows, prompting them to retaliate with firearms, which resulted in the deaths of 2 tribe members. This shocking event did not go unnoticed, as a young indigenous person from the Alto Mujikai area witnessed it and recovered one of the arrows used, now preserved in a community in Apuai. The situation in the region is critical. with satellite images revealing that over 100 hectares of forest have been destroyed by illegal activities. Since 2019, reports have indicated gunfire attacks against the Matsés as they tried to protect their lands and crops with bows and arrows. In recent years, the violence has escalated, leading to the deaths of 4 indigenous tribe members, a significant loss, representing 5% of their total population. There is growing concern that, in response, the tribe may organize retaliations against the miners, seeking justice for the lives lost. A transformative leader has emerged in the Yanomami community, taking on the role of president of the Yanomami Hatukora Association. Known as the Dalai Lama of the forest, he has been an influential voice in the fight to preserve their indigenous territory, standing out for his tireless conservation efforts. The importance of protecting these communities is emphasized by experts, who recognize the vast ancestral knowledge they possess. Developed over millennia, this knowledge makes these communities vital allies in forest preservation and the fight against deforestation. Francesca Fiacco, a renowned researcher, challenges the notion that these tribes are archaic or mere remnants of a past era. She advocates for a perspective that sees them as contemporaries, valuable, active members of human diversity. The director of an organization dedicated to supporting these communities underscores that they form complex societies perfectly adapted to thrive, regardless of outside ideas of progress and development. Experts agree that the best way to support indigenous communities is by respecting their autonomy and ensuring the protection of their rights and territories. This is because many isolated tribes, like the Matsés, have shown they can thrive completely independently. The existence of these tribes is crucial for preserving the Amazon. If communities like the Matsés were to disappear, the forest would face major threats like deforestation, illegal logging and mining activities, putting its future at serious risk. Had you heard about this fascinating Brazilian tribe before? What impresses you most about them? Until next time, goodbye.